So what you said is 1,000% correct. And so here's why I'm saying what I'm saying. So I know we just met, so you don't know what aiming for the truth is. So aiming for the truth is the event that I put on and that I run. And what aiming for the truth does, the truth aiming is a play on gun words, right? Aiming for the truth being what's the true root of violence? Why are people so violent? Why are communities so violent? So in that, while we're trying to dial around and hit the bullseye, my event covers mental illness or mental health. Sometimes I get yelled at if I say that wrong. Mental health, uh, rebuilding families, bringing families back together, because that's the cornerstone of society, and we're missing a lot of that. All right, rebuilding families, employment, we get people jobs, and all these things are happening at the event. We get people jobs. We help your children get into better educational systems for free. Okay. We train every child. If the parents come, all the children get free gun safety training to reduce the amount of accidents. We feed the community for free. We pay for public transportation round trip to show people we are investing in you. And the whole purpose is to get them there, to show them that, hey, we care about your quality of life, right? And once we get your mind right and we rebuild your family and we have your kids in a better educational system that doesn't cost you any money, and once you understand what it's like to be a dad or be a mom or be co-parents, whatever the case may be a better married couple, whatever it may be, once we can show you all that, oh, and we help you manage your money after you get the job. So we cover the gauntlet, right? We bring in a lot of professionals to help out with that. That event is solely based around showing people that you can have a great quality of life. Now, once we get your quality of life established, you understand what you're going to get out here and you're going to work hard for, and you have these resources to help you. Once you have that, then you ask the question, okay, in your mind, as you envision using all these resources to build this great life, do you believe there are people out there that will take it from you in a heartbeat? Everybody unanimously says yes. Now let's talk about the Second Amendment. Now let's talk about you protecting yourself. Now let's talk about the lies you've been fed. And once you do that, minds open. Hearts open, because you did more than slap them in the face with a gun. You actually said, I care about you. Let's invest in making your life better. And then let's talk about how you're going to defend that life that you now have quality investment into. Once you have the equity, it's easy to convince you to defend it. And that's what the gun industry has been missing. We do all this other great crap about putting up cool guns and gun videos. And yes, we need the political side. We have to have that. So I agree 100% with that. We have to make sure we're fighting against politicians. But then after that, historically, we've told them, hey, you should just shoot a gun. And that's why it's hard to get people into the conversation. Because if you've been told since you were 4 years old that white men with guns are prejudiced jerks, don't talk to them, guess what? At a certain point, you believe that. You're like, okay, I'm not. And then when you interact with the police, and that's not positive, when you run into one racist out of 10,000 people, that's the one that you happen to run into. So he doesn't help at all. And then every time you want to get into the gun industry, if all you constantly see making decisions and doing things is the same community of people you believe is not going to be accepting to you, then what the hell do you think's going to change? Like, people have to open up and say, like we had somebody in the chat say they don't believe in the whole community outreach thing. Well, you should get out of guns. You shouldn't even be into it, because it's about freedom. It's just not about a tool. It's about freedom. And our job as Americans is not to leave somebody in the dust because they don't have the understanding. Our job as free men and free Americans is to go out, invest in them, educate them, and help them along. Because where I come from in this country, we don't leave a man behind. And yet that's what we're doing to these communities. We're saying, since these anti-gun people and these anti-freedom people have your minds, we're not going to invest anything into changing that. We're just going to say, we rock, you suck, you're on your own, good luck. Instead of investing back into them and showing them that we care about you and get to know us, get to know a different side of freedom, and stop falling for the falsehoods. But like the person in the chat said, we don't believe in this community outreach thing, and that's exactly why we're losing. That's exactly why we don't stand together, because we're so quick to give up. We're so quick to say it's not going to work. We don't put effort into people. We just give up on them, and then we wonder. We sit around, we play with these fucking things. We sit around and we hold them all damn day and say, yeah, everybody should just do what we do. But you don't put a fucking ounce of energy back into investing into their lives. We don't put an ounce of energy back into changing people. We don't invest in anything in these communities, but we expect them to support us and we expect change. It's bullshit. It'll never happen. It'll never happen until we support organizations like 2A4E with Tony Simon, until we Black Guns Matter, until we aiming for the truth. It's not going to happen. And the crazy part is, it's not a bunch of old white men sitting in a room to have the answer. The answer lies here. Here's what the answer is. And people are not invested in it the right way. You want to throw money and throw bullshit around and say, oh, it just changed. Or the Black or Latino communities just suck because they don't understand. It's not because they don't understand, because guess what? None of us knew anything we know today about freedom from birth. Somebody had to tell us at one point in time, some way or another, this is for you. That's why the three of us are sitting on this panel and we get pissed off when anti-gun people say things about our rights. But we are not getting pissed off enough when gun people won't call each other out on their bullshit and start investing in communities and start getting out helping people. But we want to complain when the anti-gunners have so much support. But guess what? They're in the communities every freaking day. They're there every day. They're constantly feeding it. So yes, out of the 13% of blacks, they got 10% of them because they're in their ears every freaking day. And we don't do it. We just want to shoot our guns, go to the range, let off some steam, say gun rock, guns are cool. Yeah, I can train this. I got more armor than you do. I got more guns than you do. I rebuild my own ammo. I do all this cool shit, but I don't give a damn about the people that don't agree with me, but I won't go talk to them and entertain them and help them change their lives so they can understand what I'm fighting for. That's the bullshit. That's why we'll lose. And that's why all this NRA, NSSF, GOA, all that means nothing if we are not back out investing in the people. So when we get done with politics, I hope we get invested in the most important capital that there is, the human capital. And until we do that, it's a losing fight. We might as well shut the fuck up.
Yeah, well, want to give my 2 cents on the gun rant that you guys just watched. That's one of the best rants I've heard in quite a while. And with permission, I was able to post it. And this is my thinking on what was just said. You know, I really respect KD there for one reason. He's a black man going after the black community. That's very rare. But at the same time, you know, we all could learn something from it. I don't care if you're black, white, purple, it doesn't matter. If you're an American citizen, then it matters. And I'm not expecting, you know, the white man to walk into the dangerous areas of, let's say, Chicago or St. Louis or wherever. No. But there's a lot of us that live in those areas. So, from what KD was saying, community outreach, do what you can. If you can't, then support the people that can. Work with your own areas. If everybody takes care of their own community, then that'll all go together. And this problem, I'm not going to say it's going to completely go away, but there will be an impact. You know, it's not just any one of us going somewhere and doing something or getting into territory that we're unfamiliar with, like being dropped into a foreign country almost. It won't work. But we're all from all parts of the country, all walks of life. Deal with your own communities, your own neighborhoods, and I don't care if you've even got a very pro-gun area you live in. It doesn't matter. You know, we're only a vote away from losing everything as it is. So, you know, you got to keep reiterating and rehashing the points of freedom. You know, whether it's Second Amendment, First Amendment, it doesn't matter. Without the Second Amendment, none of the rest of them matter anyway. We know this. So I just wanted to kind of throw this out there as my perspective of everything. I'm going to have links down in the description of the podcast where I got permission to use this from Hank Strange and from KD. When he actually gave the rant, I asked him personally for permission and he told me it was fine. But deal with your own people, the people you grew up around, you know, the areas you live in, your neighbors, the people you run into at the grocery store, Walmart, wherever. Just normal, average, everyday people you see. Those are the ones you go after. And people that are in other towns, cities, states, whatever, they need to do the same thing and go after the people in their areas, and it'll spread. And eventually, maybe we'll have an impact. I don't know. But even if for whatever reason it goes south and does not turn out the way that it should, as far as the Second Amendment freedoms, you know, at least at the end of the day, we will know we've done the best we could do. It's kind of like voting is the way I'm going to kind of summarize this. If you don't vote, you can't complain about what happens then. So, if you do nothing, then don't expect any positive results. Plain and simple. So, support whatever organizations you find is the best. I'm not going to praise or, demonize anybody. I will say I just joined Gun Owners of America. I will make that public. But as far as that goes, look into these different groups. make up your own mind. And like I say, get involved as much as you can, monetarily if possible. If not, volunteer for something. If there's, try to organize something if you can. Whatever you can do locally in your area, do it. You'll see more of an impact. And I also think when you start seeing impacts directly in your area, then that may encourage you and others to pursue it a little farther and spread, and maybe we can get something to happen here. I don't know, but we got to try something. We can't let the anti-gunners win. Sitting back and doing nothing is exactly what they want. So hope everybody still keeps coming to the channel. Haven't been a lot of live streams lately, I know. Not a whole lot been going on, but just wanted to throw this out there so everybody could get my perspective. And again, I'll have links for everybody in the description. Go check their channels out and subscribe. Give them support. They do a great job and were nice enough to let me use this clip of the podcast. So I appreciate it. Take it easy, guys, and I'll catch you soon.